Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to a show I like to call the Warzone Whiteboard. As you can see, with the limited space we've got here, I've put together a few important fundamentals. Let me get in the camera view of the things you got to do in the Warzone to increase your rate of success or decrease your rate of failure. Really is what it is. Now, we're going to go over some principles and fundamentals here that are pretty common. Any good player that's got 100 wins or more, already knows. This is more for some of the newer guys and the stubborn ones that think the Warzone is multiplayer. When you get into you're getting into a match and guys are talking about how many kills they're getting, this, that, and the other. It's not important to me in the Warzone. Strategy is important. Kills, KD, or kills in a match really mean nothing in the Warzone. In fact, the more kills you got, the more risk you've brought upon yourself and your team, and a team that's trying to win and be competitive is not appreciated. Now, the kills are great and everything, but if you're doing it in a way that doesn't expose your team, great. But I'm happy to take a win in the Warzone with absolutely no kills, and it really doesn't matter to me how many kills I got at the end. What matters to me is getting to the end. If you can get to the end with 10 people left there, you got a good chance. So I put together these here. I don't know if you're able to read them or not here, but I believe you are. And we'll just start off right off the bat. The fundamentals of Warzone. Number one. Before you get it, this is pre-game stuff right here. Number one, and here kind of a strategy here. This is pre-game stuff. So number one would be here. Microphone tuning. You get in the lobby and you hear the guys' microphones and they're just popping and cracking and kids screaming in the background and this, that, and the other. Well, you're probably not going to win with those people. Number one, you're not going to hear anything. Number two, they're probably giving your position away. So what you want to do is learn how to fix these mics up the best you can. Whether you're playing on PC or the console. Learn how they all work so you can advise to increase your chance for success. Now, guys that you've been playing with for a long time usually have their stuff straightened out. You go in there and grab some randoms, and chances are they're going to have bad mics. They're not going to want to play as a team, and they're probably maybe leave in the middle of the game. So, right off the bat, you look for the microphone. The microphones aren't right. You try to get it right for them. They're not willing to work on it. Just move on with the randoms. So number one, microphones. Get your mics right. Simple. You can't get your mic right? Go buy a new one. Find a different place to game. The hearing in the game is very important. And if you're not hearing properly, you're not going to be competitive. Number two, check your proximity chat synchronization. Find out what guys are running and what they want to run. If everybody wants to put their prox chats on, fine. There's no reason you should have yours off unless you're strategizing that way where a guy's got his prox on and the other guys don't, and these people can speak and strategize behind the scenes while the other guy's listening. But in most cases, nobody even mentions these things. But for me, I need to know. I want to know. I want to know if they're on, they're off, so that I know how my game's going. And I'm just happy having mine off. Honestly, it doesn't really benefit me to have the prox chat on at all unless I want to talk trash or have a little more fun. But when I'm in there being serious, I keep mine off. I'm fine with mine off. Although I'm fine with strategizing there too, with a guy that's got his on that can keep his mouth shut, and the other guys or everyone with theirs on and one guy with it off, where you can kind of conduct behind the scenes. So it's just find out what they're doing and get a mutual consensus on how you're going to do it. And here's even deeper. Now, this is going to be real hard to get. You're playing with the same guys, and you're talking about perk packages. Probably something you do, but you get in with new guys, and they're not interested at all. You know, they give a shit less. Number one, they got 10 loadouts in there, and they may have numerous different ones in that. But it doesn't hurt to ask and find out what people are running. You know, the guys are running Ghost. Maybe you all want to run Ghost, right? Or whatever else. So that's kind of pregame stuff there. And really this one here is a pregame too. You know, decide appoint somebody that's going to lead the team in some way, shape, or form. And I like to call them either the squadron leader, which the squadron leader is going to be the guy that's calling shots. You know, he's going to pick the spot. He's going to tell you where to go. He's going to tell you where to stand. He's going to be looking out for you, and he's going to take the full responsibility of the team. So if you end up with a loss, it's going to be on his shoulders. And a good squad leader will accept that, accept the loss as just part of the game. Now, a lot of people don't want to have that burden, and that's fine with me and a lot of other people. You give them a choice. You don't just appoint someone any position. You ask if somebody wants to take it. You know, get a consensus. Get guys on board with you. So if you don't want to, if nobody wants to be the squad leader and run the show, you at least got to have the point person. Right? And the point person is simply the guy everybody's on. And the point person's job and responsibility is to go to the spot you're going, the mark or whatever, and make sure that the rest of the team is with him. So you get a guy falling behind, you got to slow up as the point man. Pull up and allow the rest of the team to catch up to you. And for the guys that aren't the point men or the people that aren't the point man, they're being aware of the point man and trying to stay on the point man. So if a guy's lagging behind and he's going full speed, well, he's never going to catch up to the point man if the point man doesn't pull up. So the point man's responsibility is to keep the team together. And if they're getting behind, you let them know. You know, if the point man gets out ahead, the point man needs to slow down. All right, so that's pretty primary. This is pregame stuff right there. Those four concepts, all pregame stuff. All right, so now we're in the pregame warm up and we're flying into the drop, and we're getting the first look at the map. So we only got 15 seconds, or maybe even not that much to pick a spot. Now it doesn't really matter who picks a spot or what you decide on, but you need to decide on one. You know, one mark, one spot, not 3, 4 marks, nothing. One spot. Everybody's on board. Everybody jumps at the same time, although it doesn't always happen, and that's why the point man has to be aware. You know, a guy's playing with his hair, picking his nose, and doesn't jump out with the rest of the team. The point man's got to pull up and let him catch up. All right, so the point man is simply what everybody else follows. You're staying on him, you know, and the squad leader is going to run the show. So the squad leader is the point person, but they're making decisions. So the point person is just a guy that's designated to kind of be in front and be aware and make sure everyone's together for the game. The team makes the decisions on how they go through the map together. And that usually works out real well. Nobody's got the full burden or responsibility. So that being said, let's move on to the next thing. Once you pick your spot, there's no point in just blasting in there and dying. You know, I see it constantly. I mean, I played the game too much. And still to this day, I get in there and there they go. Bam, right down to the ground. The first guy's down on the ground and the other 3 are still in the air, and he's going to do a contract. You know, and another team's on the contract too, except that team's better coordinated. And they all drop together. And what happens? Well, we all know what happens. We got one man down right away. And then the other guys are coming to help, and wham, before you know it, you lost 2 guys. And if you're lucky, you lost 2 guys. So now you've already decreased your chance of winning that match by 80%, I'd say. So that's a big fundamental principle that I try to pay attention to is the drop spot, right? We're picking spots here and not knowing what's going to be there when you get there. So the point man or the squad leader, when he's approaching the spot and sees that it's not looking too safe, you know, you got to pick and choose your battles in here. There's no rush to get down to the ground. There must be 60 or 80 contracts in the map, 3 or 4 for every team. So you see something bad there, pull up. And if everyone else is paying attention, they're going to pull up with you. If they don't, you let them know. Pull up, we're going to look for another one. Now, search for another spot. Float over there, And find somewhere safe to get in. You don't need to hit a contract. In fact, I try to avoid the contracts on the drop. Or I'll hover and wait till the people get theirs and get to moving. So, you know, we're going to increase your chance of dropping in with a full squad and getting your gear so you can fight. But you always got to be ready. No hot drops, and have that secondary drop location in mind. You know, always know that you may change it. You don't want to die. All right, number 2 principle. Everybody on the team needs to be, this is a squad spatial awareness. You need to know where you're at in relation to your teammates and in relation to the enemies. So, the entire game, you know, it's not that hard to do. And it's the main reason why you got a point person or a squad leader, so that the rest of the team is staying on somebody. You know, if you don't appoint that person, then you got 2 guys going here, 1 guy going here, you know, and you're not together. And a good team, a competitive team in the Warzone is staying together, and you'll see it every time, you know. And they'll pick you off one by one. You show up there with 1 guy, and the other 3 are behind. Bam, the first guy's gone, and here comes the rest. 1, 1, 1, 1, game over. Try it again. Why not just avoid it, right? So that's pretty simple. Spatial awareness. The point man needs to be paying attention to the last guy, and the last guy needs to be paying attention to the first guy. And that's how I like to look at that one. So here we go. On the mark, you hit the mark. You don't drop in 20 yards away or 30 yards away or 2 houses away. You drop on the mark, and you specify the mark. You know, you put a mark on the house, and you don't specify where you're dropping. Well, a couple guys are going to drop on the ground, a couple guys are going to drop on the roof, and whack, you're done, right? So specify. Make your mark and specify. If you want to drop on the ground at the front door, ground the front door, put the mark there, and then specify first floor or roof. Right, easy, no problem. Then everyone can drop together. You get into a pistol fight and a hand-to-hand combat, and you got your 4 guys right there and start whacking on them. And chances are they're not going to be that coordinated unless they are one of these competitive teams. In that case, it'd be a 50-50 shot, or you may just avoid it altogether by pivoting to the secondary drop. Which brings us to the next concept. When you do hit the ground, you know, people don't like to stay together because they feel like they're not going to get their weapons, they're not going to get money, whatever. Well, it's not true. It's because people are selfish and they don't know how to play with a team. Now, you drop, and you get in a line, right on each top of each other, single file even, and you go right from box to box. Bam, first guy gets his gun, and he continues on and allows the next gun to pass along, marks it for the next guy even. So. The concept there is no one takes more than 1 gun until everyone's got one, right? Easy, simple. So you run across 4 guns, and everybody's got a gun now. All right, so that's simple. 1 weapon when you drop until everybody's got one. And here's what I like here for spacing. This is, I call it tight is right. No greater than 6 feet between teammates anywhere. And it seems ridiculous, sure, but it's a winning strategy. If you don't want to waste your time, stick with your team. And when you get into a gun battle and the first guy goes down, the second guy is probably going to knock him out of there. And if he don't, the third guy will. So there you go. And you've had it happen to you, I'm sure, plenty of times where you run into it, and you may have knocked the one guy down, but here comes the next guy. And if you happen to get him, and you're not with your team, well, the third guy's standing right there, and it's over. And then he picks his guys up, and they go on to victory, and you go home, right? So I like it right on a guy. And I'll stay right on him, as close as I can get, 6 feet away. The whole team should be that way, like ducks in a row. 6 feet. That's, 24 feet. 24 feet from first to last guy, all right? Easy stuff. The next big concept is gas. The gas kills you. I can tell you the gas, 50% chance of losing if you're playing with the gas. All right, so just avoid the gas. You come to the drop, don't drop right on the edge. And if you are doing that strategy, there's nothing wrong with it, as long as you're aware that you need to move, and you need to move fast. But playing with the gas is not only dangerous to die in the gas, but as soon as you get into a gun battle, there at the gas, now your chances of getting out of there is real slim. You know, you get knocked down and you're dead. So avoid the gas. The gas it's great to work. Everybody talks about working the edge, working the edge of the gas. But for me, I try to stay away from that gas as much as possible. When I'm working the gas, it's usually in the second to last circle or the final circle, or I'm dropping in after a death late, and that's when I'm working the gas. But never early, never early. All right. So the concept is avoid the gas, loot quickly on the drop in, and move to the center of the circle. Simple. Get to the center. Why stay around the outside? You get to the center early and you avoid a bunch of the people that are in there. And you got the positioning on them. So, and when you do that, you get to the center, you just keep doing it. The circle moves, bam, you do it again. Rinse and repeat. Continue. Right? And as you go along, you grab some gear. You don't hang your hat in any one of those locations. And guess what? Eventually, here comes the free loadout, right? Drop it in. And it's dropping right across the center of the circle. Rocky. And that brings us to this here. Keep in mind the vehicle right about then. Vehicle allocation for rapid transit to free loadout drop, plus the return. You got a vehicle to bring you in. Not only are you going to get there faster than anybody else, but you can use the vehicle as a shield and lay in between the vehicle and the loadout to get your stuff. You get right back in the vehicle and you're gone. And you can drive right back to the center of the circle, right? And you didn't have to waste all your gear. All right, which brings me to my next fundamental of Warzone. Keep the equipment you acquire. All of it. The airstrikes, the gas masks, the self-revives. When you're out there battling other teams, you're wasting your equipment. So, again, fighting and getting those kills is great to have, but it's detrimental to the win, right? And I'll tell you, there's nothing better than having 2 or 3 airstrikes in your bag, the gas mask, and a self-revive when you're coming down that last 10, because chances are they don't, and you got a big advantage. And I'm going to tell you, big time advantage. If you're able to have all those, acquire all those things, I mean, it's like the chance in you winning there has got to be over 70%. So that's big for me, is getting to the center of the circle as quickly as possible everywhere. Don't worry about the contracts. Those contracts are designed to split the team up and get you into scuffles. Everybody likes the safe crackers because they got guns and they got money. But what happens every time? The team splits up to go, they think, oh, it's quicker, we'll all split up. Well, every time, or a very high chance, you're going to die there. So hold on to that equipment. You get into a battle and you absolutely need it with another team to survive, use it. But if that's not the case, don't use it, because it'll get you the win. And that brings us to the end of this deal, which is, after you've continued to the middle, you got your free loadout, you're still in the middle, and everybody else is far behind you, even if they went out and did all the contracts and everything else. And now all you need to do is kind of predict or look to see where you think the circle might be. Even if you're wrong, you're going to be close. So pick the high spot, or pick a spot that's got shelter there that you can defend. Fortify a position or claim or claim high ground. And that right there, right about that point, you're hitting the second last circle, and you are set up, you got the gear, and you got a full team. And your chance of success right there is great. So, I thought I'd just put it together, lay it out there for people that really want to win. Like I say, you want to get kills, go to multiplayer. That's what multiplayer is for. You could kill people and die all day long and just keep coming back. I play the Warzone. I play the Warzone like I'm in a Warzone. Although I've never been in one, I can imagine what it's like, and I can guarantee you I wouldn't be hot dropping down to the ground to die. So I play it like I'm in a Warzone, and it seems to do better. I've got numerous wins with no kills at all because I play a defensive game. I'm not fighting anybody. I'm not jumping out there. I'm not reaching across the map with my sniper rifle, tagging people and exposing myself and everyone else. I'm kind of just defending the entire game and collecting. Defend and collect. And if you're able to do these things here, which are very simple to do, you increase your chance of winning to substantially. And if you're able to do all that with a team together, you're golden. So after all that, bam, right here is where you end, on the extraction. You extract out of there, you got the win. And I hope this will help somebody, or somebody gets some value out of this, or maybe even can contribute to this list. I mean, there's got to be some more stuff that you could slip in there to even increase your chances further. But I kind of just got everything out there on this board here that I could think of off my head there and put it out there. So that's about it here. I got a couple friends here. We're gonna run a couple games, and this is how we play. So or try to demonstrate it for you here. No guarantee for any success whatsoever. We're in the war zone, and there's no guarantees in the war zone. But using these techniques and strategies is going to increase your chance, and hopefully we'll be able to demonstrate that here in a few games. If nothing else, we'll be putting ourselves in a position to win nearly every game. All kinds of different stuff happens. You drop in with nothing and get the win, and that's how it is here. So hopefully some people get something out of this, and if anybody wants to contribute to it, be happy to have your comments or commentary or anything. I can expand this, I can add on to this and whatnot. But I plan to do maybe a segment or two here and there on different stuff in the Warzone, strategy related, whatever, just for fun. And I'm calling it the Warzone Whiteboard. So I'll leave that up there here. In fact, if I get in with some randoms here today, I'm gonna give them the link there to go and take a look at the board before we even get going and see if they're on the same page with me. Because why play with people that aren't trying to win? And when I go in there searching for a party, I don't just hit the search party thing and let it pick them for me. I'll get in there and spin the wheel of Warzone, and I select mine. I vet my players out. I ask questions, and first thing I'm looking for is the microphone. The microphone's no good. I'm not even asking any questions. I'll just roll you. Next one, But I'll probably send some people over here, have them look at the list, and I take them a minute or two to read them over and see if they agree with the principles and fundamentals there, and if they do, we'll go for it. So let's get into some gaming action.